Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lasses, and welcome to the Click You Smell. Astounding today, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, except for Craig. My God, Craig, how dare you come here and smell the way you do? Just kidding, Greg, you smell absolutely... Wait, did I change the name? It was Craig first, now it's Greg. Well, you both smell absolutely astounding. Anyway, today we're going to talk absolutely dandy, finalicious, something I haven't done in quite a while. We're going to look at r/ConfidentlyIncorrect, which is a beautiful subreddit which goes something like this.
Oh my God, you totally shouldn't get baby plushies, which are totally not linked in the description and limited time only.
And you will regret it for the rest of your life. You see, that was a confidently incorrect statement because you should indeed get the baby plushies for yourself. Enjoy. Mwah. Ooh, Tysony Wisony. He is literally an expert in astrophysics, devoted his entire lives to physics. Anyone is going to take his answer over yours. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's not true. Astrophysics isn't a real science. Try again. Keep living in ignorance if you want. I don't care. I literally study this field. Astrophysicists take the same physics class as everyone else does. But then by proxy, none of physics should be a real science, even if this argument was true. What are you talking about? It's not like a special division of physics all by itself, it's just a specialty.
So it's not a special, but it's a specialty. Words! What? You literally contradicted yourself in one sentence. Oh my God!
You see, fellow kids at home, this is why I don't waste time arguing with people on the internet. I only laugh at them in videos because then I can turn it into content, and that's good. Because it's an absolute waste of time otherwise. It is insane how the rejection of science has come roaring back because of people using conspiracies and disinformation for political gain. People think they can just react and accept any fact they see fit and it's just as valid as actual research.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild.
I think it's also gaining so much ground because of social media and how algorithms work. Because you're really quickly sent down rabbit holes. If you, for example, start watching, I don't know, Flat Earth videos, your entire homepage will very shortly be just Flat Earth videos. And because that is what you watch and the platform algorithm says, oh, this is what keeps you on the platform and makes you watch the most ads, it will keep feeding you the same videos. So you'll be stuck in an echo chamber simply due to monetization of the platform. And you won't even really know it unless you know how it works or you're trying to log in to another computer or go incognito or like with a VPN or something like that. So some of these conspiracies that are usually quite low density in the real world, like I have actually never met a flat earther IRL, become so prominent on social media because they're all allowed to like lump together. So something you would never find people to agree with in real life all come to the same place. Yay, algorithm.
Oh no, you are just too stupid to have a conversation with.
Two.
Oh no, that's the wrong dum-dum. It is two, when it could be replaced with as well.
Jesus freaking Christ, you're a glutton for punishment. Dictionary, two. To a higher degree than is desirable, permissible or possible, excessively. He was driving too fast.
Two is an adverb. It can be used to replace words such as excessively, additionally, as well, or also.
As in, you are too stupid to quit when you're behind.
You are being too stupid to grasp what is being said doesn't put you ahead, sweetie.
You have the internet, the Google, and dictionaries literally in the same device on a different tab. Oh my God, why?
Like out of all the things to decide to die on a hill on, out of all your deepest core beliefs and things that you feel deep down in your soul,
the hill you decide to die on is like embarrassingly basic grammar.
Wow. Tesla is currently testing the dual-motor Cybertruck, and we've been getting a lot of pictures, and now we have the best look yet as this wide-open, shallow frunk that we've seen yet. We finally have a clear shot of the Tesla Cybertruck with frunk open.
It's spelled trunk. If you're going to write your own news article about something, at least spell check it first. I have a bigger brain than everyone combined.
I mean, I would assume it's called frunk because it's like a front trunk. You know, that's probably why it's there.
I would assume. Little commenter.
I bought a cow for $800. I sold it for $1,000. I bought it again for $1,100. And I sold it again for $1,300. How much did I earn? Might be a poorly phrased question. If by earn he means total earnings, it would be $2,300, $1,000 plus $1,300. If it means profit, it is $400. Minus $800 plus $1,000 is $200. $200 minus $1,100 is minus $900. And then we have minus $900 plus $1,300, which is $400.
Are you dumb? Or engagement farming, $300 profit. You take off $100 profit because he paid $100 more for the cow the second time he bought it. Sold for $1,000, rebought for $1,100.
P equals R minus E. R is $2,300 and E is $1,900. Where are you getting the extra $100 from? Show your work.
Lol, no.
That has to be the standard reply in school. Timmy, how did you get this answer? Can you show your work? Ha! Lol, no teacher, you're too stupid to understand my logic.
Lol, no. He paid $1,100 for the second cow purchase. He only sold it for $1,000. 100 of your 400 profit is eaten away.
But you're literally using like the same numbers twice. You're very silly.
I guess you are that dumb.
Given that I've shown via basic arithmetic how I arrived at my answer, and you refuse to show your work, the only reasonable conclusion is that you are full of poo.
Lol, you are R-worded.
Oh, what a good comeback. Some little bit of personal insults. I'm not gonna show my work even though I'm confidently incorrect, and I'm gonna toss slurs at everyone.
Because I am a man of intellectual culture. Sterling refutation in face of two proofs. Way more convincing than just showing your math.
Oh, keep shining your R-wordation light.
Okay.
If you can't figure out he loses 100 in profit because he bought the 1,100 cow when he sold it for 1,000, you might be a complete effing moron.
There's nothing more satisfying than seeing someone get such basic math completely borked and being so confident about it and also really angry and just tossing around insults. And you're not even showing your work. Like, you do realize if you just showed your work, you would probably realize you're having a little bit of a thinky error. No? No? Okay.
Okay, the min buy price was $800, the max sell price was $1,300, meaning max PP was $500, AP was $400. You are correct that sub-opt buy sell cycle cost $100 in PP, but you are wrong that AP is $300.
You R-words have no lives.
The beautiful thing, oh my god, this kind of
Reminds me of old school Call of Duty lobbies back in like the 2000s, where it's like if you're too good, you get called a hacker, and if you're too bad, you get called a noob. There is no winning. You have walked with me every step of the way, shunning every opportunity to end the argument by proving your math. 0 minus 800 is minus 800. Minus 800 plus 1000 is 200. 200 minus 1100 is minus 900. And minus 900 plus 1300 is 400. Point to the equation that is wrong.
Oh, lady parts.
Wait, that's the... I can't disprove this basic plus-minus math. Here's a nude.
Now, no need to bring your mother into this.
Oh my god. Internet discussions in a nutshell. I'm so glad humanity invented the internet.
Oh, sweet content. They could have easily made another season instead of rushing the last few episodes.
Hello, it looks like you made a mistake. It is supposed to be could have, should have, would have, shorts for could have, would have, should have, never could of, would of, should of, or you misspelled something. I am checking everything. Beep, boop, yes, I am a bot. Don't bot cremate me.
Saying could have is a formal way of saying that. Either or works.
You're literally sitting and arguing with a grammar bot, and you're also wrong.
Is this the legacy you want to leave behind for your grandchildren?
Oh, Timmy, let me tell you the time Grandpa argued with the Reddit grammar bot and lost.
Imagine a vaccine so safe you have to be threatened to take it. For a disease so deadly you have to be tested to know you have it.
Do you know cancer screenings are a thing, right? Ooh, some juicy anti-vax stuff. Isn't this glorious? Heck yeah. Didn't like anti-vax just spike during COVID? But then it like never really died off. It's a really weird thing, and like it's full of these really odd gotchas that I didn't think anyone over the age of 5 would do. Like if you've ever known anyone who's had cancer or something, this you would literally know this argument is really silly.
If your children attend a public school, you fail as a parent.
Looking at your grammar, your parents failed you.
That is, your parents failed you.
Got him! Yeah, nothing to prove your point that failing grammar in a public forum. Yay!
Like, don't get me wrong, as a dyslexitive person, I'm not particularly prude when it comes to spelling or grammar, you know, but if you're like gonna be super confident about it while like having a gotcha moment or insulting someone else, you should probably get it right first. I was C-sectioned prematurely. By medical definition, I was never born. What do you mean medical? What definition?
I was never born.
What medical definition, lol? A C-section birth is, well, birth.
No. The medical definition of birth requires the child to pass through birth canal. I never passed through it. A C-section is a C-section, a birth is a birth.
Sometimes people seem to like paint themselves into these logical corners that are not logical at all.
Jesus Christ!
I think you're smart enough to know that tort is not a battery, and battery is not a tort. A tort is a civil offense, and a battery is a criminal offense. God, I hope so at least.
Battery is both a tort and a criminal offense. Where did you get your law degree from? A Cracker Jack box? I don't actually know legal definitions in English particularly well in that case, but I'll trust the second poster because that was posted and upvoted, and that's the source material I need. Likes on Reddit. Gotten isn't a word! You know, sometimes people just make these really confident statements about really simple black and white things
Without just Googling it. What? Why would you be so confident? You're on the internet. Why didn't you just, is Gotham a word? Yes, done. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Maybe all these people are actually just severely masochistic. Wouldn't that be a twist?
I can't wait to be grammatically humiliated in Instagram comments.
Gotten isn't a word.
Here is a link to a dictionary.
Oh, the fact that you sent me a link to an American dictionary speak volumes.
What is that supposed to mean? They sent the link to dictionary to prove that a word is indeed real, and it is in the dictionary. Wouldn't that be a pretty valid, like, source counterpoint? No?
Oh, nobody uses dictionaries for words.
This is one of the most brain-dead comments I've ever seen in my life. Maybe you should have gotten some education past age 10, lemao. It is definitely a word, y'all just use got these days. It's an old word still in use here like many other terms that y'all don't use anymore.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. God, I love this. Why are you so
Oh, it's so amazing. How could you link me a dictionary to prove a word exists? That shows that...
What?
What does it show? Funny moments of people incorrectly correcting other people. Bro, get a life, you're 23.
You're...
No, it's you are.
You're... Trust me, I'm an English major.
Poor English, man. Poor English.
So after failing this very basic grammar very confidently and repeatedly, you then make the argument that English is your primary and strongest subject. Goody.
Grammar rules. I make my own rules. I heard you like bad boys. Well, girl, I'm really bad at grammar.
And now you're using corporal punishment incorrectly. Spanking does not fall under this category. Typically, corporal punishment means it's physical punishment, such as caning or flogging.
Spanking is literally physical punishment. Such as doesn't mean exclusively. Here is the Wikipedia definition. A corporal punishment or a physical punishment is a punishment which is intended to cause physical pain to a person. When it is inflicted on minors, especially in home and school settings, its method may include spanking or paddling.
Oh, Jesus frick! You seriously need to learn how to read before you respond.
What?
I must say though, it's much nicer to just read these posts and have like a what the frick reaction in the video than actually having to argue these people by yourself. It's like you're one step removed from making us laugh. It's like watching stuff in a coliseum, I suppose. I wouldn't want to wrestle that grammatical lion myself, but it's kind of entertaining to see someone else do it.
Mom, can I eat this apple?
No, it's an onion.
It's an apple.
It's an onion.
It's an apple.
Okay, if you insist, eat it. He would rather die than admit the mistake.
He's just eating an entire onion like it's an apple just to prove a point. Oh my god. Oh my god. What an absolute warrior. Oh my god. And it's a big freaking onion. It's like this big. Oh my god.
Well, this kid is being hardened for life. He will never cry a single tear when cutting onions in the kitchen in the future. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think the kid has earned this one. Indeed, Timmy. That is an apple. Thank you.
British cool.
Ramsey is Scottish, not British.
Scotland is in Britain.
That's in the UK, not Britain.
Conspiracy theorists are clowns.
A conspiracy means there's no proof, but we have proof. So I'm confused how this is a conspiracy. Y'all just say anything.
Provide proof then, and don't give me that BS. There are small amounts of X in water.
Now, class, let's use our critical thinking. Oh, it's like in that video
we watched with the lady with the filter. Whenever some conspiracy theory starts with like use critical thinking, they usually miss at least 90% of what is included in critical thinking and nitpick like some really weird stuff. Let's see what they get into, shall we?
When you ingest even a small trace amounts over long periods of time, what happens? You get dumb butts as yourself who think not being poisoned, cause it's a slow process but still actually very much happening. Huh?
I mean, that completely depends on what you're talking about, though. Like, we literally have organs in our body that filter stuff out, you know, so it doesn't pile up. You know, liver is a pretty good example of that. So yeah, sometimes some stuff just gets filtered out of the body, even if it's trace amounts. Some other stuff would probably harm you slowly over time. This is like, what are you talking about? Oh my god. Still provided zero proof, but let's take your analogy. If I take a speck of sand for 70 years, will I have health complications?
The proof is right in your house in all your everyday poo. Go do your research like I did instead of arguing facts with opinions.
The burden of proof is on you.
Exactly. So go get proof for yourself, dummy.
No, not in you. As in you. You're the one making the claim. Not that fluoride got you fucked. Stop taking drugs, buddy. Hey there. The burden of proof for this claim is on you. That's, yeah, I heard it. It's on you. That's not how it works.
A conspiracy means there's no proof. No, that's not what conspiracy means. Imagine the catch-22 in criminal conspiracy prosecutions. Defense closing arguments. Well, we think they haven't proven there was a conspiracy, so our guy is innocent. But if there was proof, then that means it wasn't a conspiracy, so he is also innocent. Haha, freak you, Department of Justice. Ooh, that'd be kind of smooth, isn't it? It's like automatic immunity because it just goes in a circle. Hell yeah.
Well, that is 500 pounds per thing, so it's 2,000.
That's not how it works.
There's two things that sit on the dumbbells, and both weigh 500, resulting in a combined weight of 2,000.
Wait a second, so this is just wrong on like 2 levels. Number one, a dumbbell just shows the same number on both sides as the total weight, so you're supposed to see it from both sides. But even if you make the argument that this person is trying to make, like for example a bench press with loose weights, then of course it would add up, you know, the stuff you put on individually, which would mean 500 plus 500 would be 1,000, but not 2,000. So it's just, you don't understand the concept, but you're also adding it wrong. So even if the principle was as you say it is, you're still not getting it right. No, it's 500 in total. It shows it on both sides, so you can put it back on the rack and still see the weight, so it's still only 500. Yeah,
but it's also not. God, oh my god.
I am slowly melting brain cells.
r/stories graduate program. I lost a family through this, and I'm not sure how much more I can take.
Confused. How are you extremely monogamous and bi? Those two terms contradict each other. Yes, he has issues and took advantage of the situation. However, not to be mean, but you have issues too. You want to be able to be with women, but want a relationship to be monogamous at the same time? That is an invitation for problems.
Bisexuality means you have naughties with both men and women. Being monogamous doesn't mean you can't be bi. Having naughties with both a man and a woman at the same time makes you not monogamous.
Thank you for the definitions. I know what both terms mean.
Do you, though? It doesn't seem like it.
I am pointing out that you can't be mono if you're bi,
but then you literally contradicted your own sentence.
I know what both of these definitions mean. Proceeds to get them both wrong in the very next sentence.
Internet arguments in a nutshell.
But like, good sir, on the internet, good little internet comment person, if you are together with like a man, and then in your next relationship, for example, you're together with a woman, wouldn't that mean that you are pretty bi? But then you can also be monogamous, no? Is that too mind-boggling of a concept? You know, being bi doesn't mean fricking everyone at once all the time. That's not the same thing.
How does olive oil change the smoke point of butter?
Clarified butter.
What?
Melted butter combined with oil creates clarified butter, which has a higher smoke point than butter. When mixed together, the milk, fat, and solids protein will separate due to the difference in the densities. Removing the milk and proteins from the mixture allows for a higher smoke point. This is clarified butter.
Melted butter combined with oil. No, it doesn't. Removing the fat and proteins from the mixture. If you remove the fat and protein from butter, what do you have left? Water. Is water clarified butter? What? I have never heard the term clarified butter. Is that actually a thing that exists? I don't think so. It sounds really weird.
This is just like pure butter. It's water.
Colombia. Colombia is in the Pacific Northwest. Colombia is the nation. I'm not trying to be rude, by the way.
Are you telling me I don't recognize my own nationality? They are South American from Colombia.
You could have read the first comments. Sometimes things in the world are spelled very similarly. Oh no.
I'm sorry to tell you, but nationality does not cancel out dyslexia. Trust me, I would know. Last time I checked, chicken are not mammals. For birds, we have specific lists of forbidden birds cannot eat. For fish, everything that has scales and fins is allowed. The rest is not.
Oh, chickens are omnivores mammals. Thank you anyway.
This is going on r/ConfidentlyIncorrect. People just spew out things, don't they? I wonder how much of this kind of stuff is just rage bait versus how much is actually real. You know, my favorite conspiracy so far to date, and tell me if you agree in the comments, I think it's a pretty fun conspiracy, is that aliens have actually visited us. And what they do is that they spend their entire time just on the internet from basements, just doing this kind of stuff, rage baiting and kind of thing, to try to understand human social interactions and see where like the lines are drawn and that kind of stuff. So this is just aliens probing us, social media-wise. Some really nice probing. So they invade our society without us even noticing. So, yay.
Or maybe to just dumb us down, so an invasion will be easier. I'm not sure if you really need to dumb us down that much, though, to be honest. Should be pretty simple.
Research, my friend. Let your curiosity guide you. The moon landing was faked. It was filmed on a Hollywood set in the late 50s. In the late 50s? Why would you record a moon landing in the 50s? And I will leave you with this. In the world today, where capitalism is always at play, if there was a way to outer space, why hasn't it been commercialized? And if we were to the moon in 1959, I don't think anyone is arguing that. When there was no computers, no internet, no music Walkmans, no cellular phones, why hasn't anyone go back in the last 60 years?
He is right that we didn't go to the moon in 1959.
Yeah, he does have a point. But not the one he thinks he has.
He is wrong about computers, though. They definitely did exist long before the first attempt to put men in space, let alone the first man on the moon in 1969. Depending on your definition of computer, they existed since 1822. Oh yeah, isn't that like the hole card computers, where you have cards with holes in them that you can program in various ways? I believe those were the first computers.
Carbon dioxide is the gas of life. Without it, we die. The trees need carbon dioxide. The more we add to the environment, the better.
I mean, you could make this argument about anything. Water, we need water to survive, so the more water you pour on top of Earth, the better. I mean, sure, if you ignore all the drowned stuff, I guess.
The real scientists aren't allowed an opinion on climate change, only the ones bought and paid by the government.
You see, this is always something I find so staggering when it comes to conspiracies and this kind of stuff. There's always a very, very convenient explanation for anything that isn't falsifiable. Because they say like, oh, there's nothing proving this. And if you do send them something that does disprove it, then it's always, this person is paid off, or this is fake or something. There's always a convenient explanation, which means that none of this is actually a scientific way of arguing because it's not falsifiable. That's the whole point. Anything that has a proper argumentation needs to be falsifiable. There needs to be a way in the framework of the argument to be able to disprove it, if of course it is false. But always having convenient explanations like, they're paid off, or any picture from space proving that Earth isn't flat is a specific lens, or it's taken like this, or it's Photoshop, or it's animated, or it's this and that and that. After a while, there's no point arguing because the mind is already made up. It's just like a dictionary full of excuses that also aren't actually proven. This person hasn't proven that they're paid off. That's the wildest part. So the burden of proof is shifted as well. So the whole thing is just really messy. Anyway, let's read the rest of this very insightful comment, shall we?
The real scientists aren't allowed an opinion on climate change, only the ones bought and paid by the government. You don't accept the simple science of the CO2 and oxygen.
I don't think anyone has argued that CO2 in of itself is a bad thing. It's necessary for the circle of life, and how plants breathe and how we breathe, and also how we bind carbon and that kind of stuff, and when we breathe it out, etc., etc. It's just a natural part part of like the chemical cycle of life. But the problem is when it becomes too much, and the imbalance and the global warming and all that kind of stuff, you know? It has more effects than only that. You can argue, yes, CO2 is good for plants, but it could also be a problem if it becomes too much in the atmosphere, you know? Multiple things can be true at once. Humans need water to survive, but if you drink too much too fast, you will die. Yeah, that too. It's not only drowning. If you literally drink too much too fast, your brain can swell and you die. Fascinating.
If humans need water to survive, then why is it that people drown when held underwater? Curious. Looking into it.
Report back.
Dude, Asia and Europe are not continents. Those are just parts of the world. And clowns.
Anyone that uses this amount of emojis in a comment should have their argument dismissed instantly. Thank you. I mean, I suppose you're correct that they aren't continents. I'm not sure if that's the word. All of my core beliefs are at odds with the scientific consensus on literally everything. How could all those scientists be so wrong?
That's this entire subreddit in a nutshell. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm the only person ever to have figured this out.
Spoiler, there are so many people in the world and so many people that lived before you. The odds of you being the first one to figure something out is really heckin' low. Just gonna be honest. It's like that post I had in another video that was something like, oh my god, if the goalkeeper can pick up the ball in soccer with their bare hands, why don't they just pick it up and run across the field and score a goal? Are they stupid? And like the thought of this person being the first individual in the history of the sport to have thought of this plot hole in the sport and not utilized it, and everyone else in the entire history just happens to be idiots. If that is like the only explanation you can have for it, maybe there's another reason, like, you know, a rule that, maybe they can't run across the field with the ball in their hands. Mind-blowing concept, I know.
I am terrified for my daughter to find someone who got the bioweapon.
Do you mean the vaccine?
She is 3 now, but in 20-something years, I don't want her to mix breed of human that is filled with their yearly booster. It just makes me so sick to my stomach.
Did you just manage to turn vaccination into, like, racism and mixed breeding? Holy crap.
And furthermore, we will all have to worry about the people who continue to get boosted shedding all over us when we have to go in public.
There should really be a license for having kids, man. My god, I know like the consequence of that wouldn't be particularly good, but it's a fun thought to play with in your mind, no? Show me an autistic person that is unvaccinated. The worst part is all of this like based on a fake study from like 40 years ago, and then it just kept spinning on social media for some reason. It's wild.
People don't realize that autistic children are not sick. They are diagnosed and drugged to cover up their abilities. They are more in touch with a higher dimensional world, sensitive to noise, touch, smell, people. What they do suffer from, as well as we all do, is parasites.
This is so many levels of conspiracy. Oh my god. I don't even know what the final conclusion of this conspiracy is. Is it anti-vax, or is it like some population spread parasite, or a spiritual thing that is being... It's everything. This is... What? I don't even know what the final point is. What is that you want people to do?
Breaking. A high-up biologist, who is a good honest mate of mine, has confirmed that the toxin presented in the mRNA poison COVID vaccines are set to be activated on October 10th. Please join me in praying for those who took the clot shot, despite the fact they ignored us.
Ooh, October 10th. Okay, this was posted in 2022, so I would safely say that 10th of October has passed. A good mate of mine,
a friend of a friend. This is kind of like, this is basically the, you wouldn't know my girlfriend, she goes to another school excuse, but for anti-vaxxers.
Mobile phones. Please turn these devices off completely before entering the church. Not simply placed in silent airplane or standby mode. We have friends in the choir and audience who are seriously affected from the radiation emitted by mobiles in such an enclosed environment. Sincere thanks.
Sometimes it feels that people just like mesh together weird buzzwords they have read online. It's kind of wild. I remember seeing those instructional educational videos with like a wife and a husband who's like how you protect yourself from radiation. And it's like, oh, your laptop emits so much radiation, so you should have it on top of a pillow instead of having it directly in your lap. And the thing I think is that, okay, if it truly emits radiation,
a fucking pillow is not gonna protect you, Karen. What the shit? I mean, at least if it's the kind of, radiation, like gamma rays or something you're talking about, then surely a pillow is not gonna stop. Oh my god.
A young woman just came to my door wanting to sell me solar panels. I told her no, since they're unhealthy.
I mean, unhealthy if you eat them, or what are we talking about?
My niece and her husband rented a home and began having migraines. They found out that solar panels were above the bedrooms and turned them off. Their headaches disappeared.
That is like, when you have a study with one single point of data? That's what this is. Oh, we had a headache one evening. We turned something random off. Oh, the headache was gone the next day, because, usually headaches don't last very long. So if you were to do this with anything, we moved this random planted pot out of the bedroom, it must be the plant that's poisonous. But it's just because headaches don't usually last that long. You see this all the time with, weird correlations people draw between stuff that doesn't matter.
No. 100 million years? Where is the evolution? Don't be gullible. Question the evolution fairy tale.
Oh my god, no. 100 million years ago. I think they're also different in size between these two, if I'm gonna be honest, because bugs were freaking humongous back in those olden days because of the oxygen density in the atmosphere. I don't even think they could exist nowadays because the way their bodies work, they can't absorb enough oxygen to make it work at those scales because the oxygen density is lower nowadays. At least when I read up on it a while ago. Feel free to look it up if you want. But this is very silly. Why would this disprove evolution, that something has been consistent? It just means that it's evolutionary good. Same thing with, for example, crocodiles and stuff. It just means that they're evolutionary, very well designed, so they haven't had to evolve significantly to survive. Stuff evolves and adapt when there's a reason to, but if they don't have to, maybe they won't.
Lol, algebra. We can see without math and magic that 0.999999 is still technically 0. What? Until it actually make a full 1, it is not 1. It is 0.999999, which is still 0.
Okay, would this mean that 0.5 is also 0? Oh, can I have half a banana, please? Yeah, no, that's still technically 0. Half a banana is 0 banana. Thank you. Good math. I mean, what you're talking about is something called, I don't even know what it's called in English. Gränsvärden. Limits. It's like a limit values. It's converging values. So imagine, for example, we can actually bring a paint for this. We haven't done a Click Academy in a little while. Let's bring a paint, shall we? I love paint. Welcome to Click Academy. So today we're gonna learn about stuff like that. So for example, you would usually write it like this. For example, lim, which is limus in Swedish. I'm not sure if we use the same kind of stuff in English. And then you can have, for example, n goes towards infinity, let's say. So if we have limus, when n goes towards infinity, 1 divided by n, which is a very similar example to what we have here, the larger n becomes, the smaller this number becomes. So you usually say that this converges to 0, because you can make this as large as possible, so this whole equation is going to converge towards 0. I mean, you can draw this kind of stuff as a graph, and it would very, very slowly converge to 0, not quite reach it, but basically become infinitely close to 0 as we go towards infinity. So therefore you say that this turns into 0, because that's the closest mathematical... I still said mathematical! It's the closest, realistic conclusion we can come to, because you can always write a smaller number, So this is how it works. So what they're arguing about is actually a thing in mathematics. It's just when stuff goes towards infinity. So if you read past, I don't know, high school calculus, I suppose, you will encounter this quite often. Nixon talking to Apollo 11 on a landline phone, with a picture taken from the moon in the background. Take your time. Apollo 8 happened before Apollo 11. That's how linear time works. They thought they had it. But no. Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, night. We should never see Venus and Mercury at night. You see, because planets are really close together, and you can't see past them. And they're always in the same orbit. I mean, you wrote a picture that super simplistically explains the solar system, and then you think it's a perfect one-on-one model and be like, oh my god, if Venus is in the way of Mercury, then you can never see it. As if the planets were aligned and 10 meters away from each other. A compass points to the magnetic center. It must be held perfectly flat to use. A compass doesn't work on a globe. It would point down through the earth or off into space. What? Why? Never would it point at both poles at the same... Oh, the argument is that the whole earth is just a magnet. Magnetic fields going in a certain pattern, and that's why a compass works the way it does.
isn't applicable here. You know, it's a magnet as in it pulls straight down. So that's why compasses shouldn't work.
Compass only makes sense on a flat Earth. Facts.
They're trying to debunk compasses now. You know that people have used compasses to like travel around the globe, no?
Hundreds already have claimed the Nobel Prizes and called out how unscientific evolution is.
Who? I can't seem to find anyone when I search.
I don't have time right now, but have you ever heard of Sir Isaac Newton or Louis Pasteur?
Of course, Newton was a physicist who never thought about nor speculated about evolution. And Pasteur never spoke about evolution, but did speak about abiogenesis, which is the start of life and has nothing to do with evolution. Did this person just name drop a couple of random historical names in hopes that the other person wouldn't, like, know about them? They could literally just Google them. This is all online.
There's so much stuff in these Confidently Correct stuff to just open a new tab and Google. It's, oh my god.
If dinosaurs actually existed, wouldn't their bones be everywhere? Let's all put our critical thinking skills to the test this morning.
Oh, that's never a good start.
So why is it that the average Joe has never dug them up?
I mean, they have, though.
Why haven't you or I or anyone we know ever found a bone?
Okay, first off, you can, for example, very easily go to a place like, for example, Gotland in Sweden, which is a beautiful place, can recommend it for a little vacay. But one thing that's very unique with this island is, if I remember the history correctly, is that it actually wandered on tectonic plates, so it moved from, like, somewhere down south up until the Swedish archipelago, essentially. Which means that you have a lot of fossils and stuff that normally shouldn't be there. You can literally walk on some of the beaches and pick up fossils. I don't think you're actually allowed to take it with you home anymore, because, like, tourists are emptying the beaches, of course, but this is one example. I've literally picked up fossils there as a kid. Like, you know, it's very easy to find. And number two, what is this age filter? If you look at the hands, or like the chest, or something like that, is this like a minus 30-year age filter? That brings me some hope for the future. When I'm like 60 years old and still want to be young and hip reading memes for my fellow kids, yeah, yeet, I can look like this with lashes and everything. Anyway, let's keep watching this beautiful video, shall we?
Bones can completely decay within 20 years.
Yeah, most of them do, yeah. Okay, great.
But these people are finding fossils that are intact,
Yes.
that still have teeth attached.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. It's hardly a majority of
76
the bones.
million years ago. I honestly believe they put these creatures in front of us and made us believe it because of this.
Oh, are you...
After all of our fallen ancestors have always talked
Wait,
about the
are you
Nephilim,
saying dinosaur bones are actually giants? And this is just like a cover-up?
fallen angels. Yeah, big ass giants. And if the meteor thing truly happened, if something of that magnitude was to hit Earth, it'd be something like 10,000 nuclear bombs going off.
Yeah, it covered the entire atmosphere in shite for a long time, and like everything that wasn't very tiny died.
Everything get obliterated.
Most things
Wouldn't
did.
be anything left, let alone bones. It's easy to connect the dots once your eyes are open. It's just another thing they made up to keep us from the truth.
What truth?
Truth is, giants exist.
Oh, there we go. Okay, they actually had the punchline. That's good, yeah. Okay, giants existed because there was a big sword on display, and tall people are a thing, and there's a random rock at a resort at a very specific angle, vaguely looks like a face. That's more banger proof than all the bones from dinosaurs and that kind of stuff, and like complete skeletons.
Let me actually get a couple of fossils. For God's sake, I have a couple in my drawer that I picked up myself. Jesus Christ, woman.
Oh yes, indeed. Nothing like digging through your bedroom drawers.
For a bit of scientific evidence to debunk a TikTok. Look at this baby. This is really cool. It's not actually a tooth. This is probably a shell from an ancient squid that was swimming around. So this thing is probably arguably older than the dinosaurs are. So like this is something I picked up on a beach when I was like 10. So if I can bring this out of my bedroom drawer to easily disprove this garbage, like come on, this is so silly. This is so silly. And also, like, yeah, most bones are not intact, otherwise the whole globe would, like, be covered with nothing but bones. Dinosaurs existed for, like, hundreds of millions of years. You know? The number of bones that actually do survive are a vast, vast minority. So, yeah, there's so much stuff with this video that is just completely whack.
Try this to see if you're in a spinning ball flying through space. Lol. Stand up and lean your head back and place 3 drops of eye water in each eye. Was this possible? Welcome to Flat Earth. You've always been here, lol.
Oh, they're trying to disprove the fact that the Earth is a spinning ball by saying that if you drop something, it's gonna fall straight down, but if we're spinning it should like zoom, fly to the side. You know, Karen, the reason I can do this on a moving train as well just disproves your entire physical model.
I actually have a better one. Get a plumb bomb and hang it from the ceiling right next to where you sit so you can watch it for months if you're stubborn. Place it 1/4 of an inch from the floor over a piece of tape with an MX right under the plumb bomb. With no wind, there will be no movement, ever!
You can disprove this entire theory by being on a train. Have these people never been on a train or in a car or like anything that would like very simplistically show relative speed? No?
Do people really still believe the Earth is a globe?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, yes, there's people that believe Biden won 2020 election and they plan on getting a booster every 6 months and wear
It's always like, God, the Venn diagram for like anti-vax and flat earth is like a circle.
It's wild. Just whatever the TV people say they do. That's a scary thought. How can people be so ignorant and naive? I just don't get it.
You're trying to disprove the entirety of astrophysics by hanging a rock from a piece of rope and not even considering like, you know, this could be disproven by being on a train and then going off rants about elections and vaccines. Fam. Sunlight isn't toxic, sunscreen is. All I know is when I spend too much time in the sun, I burn badly, which isn't good either.
It is a sign of your body detoxing. Your body's attempting to heal itself too quickly. It has been deprived of sunlight for too long.
And sunglasses apparently as well.
Yup, we're meant to take that level of UV through our natural filters. If it was harmful, we would have been born with stronger tints to the filters.
Are these the same kind of people who went on TikTok a while ago and tried to sunbathe the inside of their butts? Because it was like, this skin is super sensitive, this must be so good because it absorbs all the goodies. You know, like UV rays.
100 miles per hour, but this one is 17,800 miles per hour. Oh, how could this be true?
Relative speed and atmosphere usually explains most of it, no? Yep.
Sun cream causes cancer, not the sun itself. Sunglasses are made from stop your eyes from healing, from your pineal gland from detoxing, and all other benefits we get from sunlight. Amazing facts. Look, the sunlight looks like an eyeball. Our ancestors knew that gazing directly at the sun during sunrise and sunset has incredible beneficial impact on one's health.
I mean, I suppose if you mean the health is that I don't have to read these bullshit posts because I'm literally blind. Yeah, that might be impactful.
Since there are 0 UV rays at these times, your eyes are not only undamaged, but known to improve. Known by who? Dear God. The rays enter through the cornea and stimulate the pituitary and pineal gland, which helps to decalcify, as well as having similar effects on the brain, such as yoga.
Staring directly into the sun is yoga, and for some reason there are bears here.
By simply researching sun-gazing benefits, you will see that this knowledge is commonly known in many cultures. Yes, among bears, for example, they stare directly into the sun. That's why they're so healthy.
I swear to God, one thing that always strikes me as amazing with this is that, do they actually do this themselves? Do they actually sit every morning and stare into the sun? And after like a week of just staring into the sun, you're like, yeah, my eyesight is so much better. Like, fam, what? A similar thing happened to me, but my dad cheated. My mother was distraught when she found out I wasn't really her child. Wait, hold on. What? So the dad cheated. My mother was distraught when she found out I wasn't her child.
But like...
What?
This is the design that an airplane needs to reach a top speed of Mach 3.2. So if you believe this thing is able to reach a maximum speed of Mach 23, you are not thinking clearly.
Well, of course, there are a few different things with this, of course. One is just like
atmosphere and air resistance is one of those things. Number 2 is that the bottom one is going in for landing, but you know, it has very chunky rockets smashing it out into space where it reaches insane speeds. So like, it's like comparing that satellite, or if it was the International Space Station, to a motorcycle. It's like, fam. Different species, one race in like quotation marks, because now they're being really sassy, but also really racist. So Serena says, for the advocacy of people of European descent. So basically a raging racist. Dissident right. Environmentalist, both local and global. You know, Serena, there is a very clear definition about species. If they can produce fertile offspring together, they are considered to be within the same species. For example, donkeys and horses can actually make the babies, which is called a mule. But a mule is actually sterile, so they do not actually produce fertile offspring. It's pretty fascinating concept. But you know, in that simple line of logic, your argument is just completely botched.
Science is f***ing hard, okay? There's like more than one book, and they got big words. Yeah, like fertile offspring.
Words are silly. Why can't we just have drawings? Drawings are silly. Why can't we just make it up and call it truth?
Yes, like Serena does on Twitter, to endorse her very beautiful hyper-racist worldview. Crocodiles can't mate with alligators, so thanks for proving the point. I mean, she's insane and wrong, clearly, but the biological species concept breaks down pretty dramatically in insects. Source: I study insects and they really do be hybridizing. Interestingly, one of the least useful predictors of speciation is coloration. That, oh my god, I am butchering every word. There are like 9 color morphs in most ladybird beetle species, but they're still the same thing even though they're different colors. That is actually fascinating.
Labor Day is a pagan holiday.
A lot of holidays used to be pagan. I'm not sure about this one though.
I mean, Christmas is pretty heckin' pagan.
Walt Disney World.
My 9-year-old is severely dehydrated and just vomited outside of Polly on our way to the monorail. She's shaking and achy. If she requires medical attention, what do we need to do?
Well, get her medical attention. You just answered your own question. Go get medical attention instead of like writing it out of Walt Disney World friggin' Facebook group.
Breaking news! Serpent DNA discovered in corona vaccine is turning newborns into snakes. A mother is shocked when she discovers her newborn has been transformed by liberal serpent DNA.
That is a sentence I never thought I would read in my entire life. Liberal serpent DNA.
And the baby will now be sacrificed to the devil by Sleepy Joe and his cabal. Don't get the vaccine and please pray for this poor little angel that's now burning in hell for being an abomination against the Lord. Amen.
Look at this snake alien baby. That was born by the vaccine. Now it's gonna burn in hell.
The fact that this is all written in caps makes it so much more believable. They got rid of lead paint because their equipment can't see through it, and it protected you from radiation.
You know, heavy metal poisoning is a very real concept. Maybe that would be the reason why? No? And I also don't imagine, like, lead paint, a thin layer of lead in your paint on the house would, like, protect you from any significant radiation, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, fam. This is not a dust-covered rock. Neither is this. It emits its own light. Oh, the moon is a light bulb? That's the conspiracy? Like, you know, reflected light from the sun isn't... No? Okay.
Can't imagine anything gayer than 2 men in a car. Drive a loner with a woman.
Some of these people are like so worried about being gay that they make up the wildest thing. Oh, you can't just like go in a car with your friend. Everything is gay.
Fellas, is it gay to drive a car? Yes. Once you understand that their god is a transgender, they will also understand why they indoctrinate our children.
I swear to God, some of these people must be smoking some wild stuff. Like, I don't know, glue. After they smoke glue, they make Facebook memes. It's kind of nifty, though. Like a Satan god with boobs. Hell yeah. Well, laddies, lasses, and lasses, I do hope we learned a lot of beautiful things together in this very informative scientific video. Yummalicious. And I hope your brain swelled to ridiculous extents, and I will see you in the very near future, you beautiful being. Take care. Mwah.